Yeah, when are Audible going to hit me up for this sponsorship deal? Such an audiobook simp, they should be throwing money at me. Throwing money. I think this is like seven books last month. I actually finished off the the series that I was listening to, the Mark of the Fool, and the guy has a second ongoing series called Rune Seeker. Which is more of a blatant, like, sort of lit RPG. I don't know why, but I get such a kick out of the series. To the point where I've even started listening to Defiance of the Fall. So I like to hear the justifications of why everyone lives in the game world. It's really, I don't know why, but I think that's the best part. Like, having a good justification for it really does work wonders. Although the Wandering In series has never really explained the whole leveling system and classes and who the voice is. But there's quite a lot of like little things that they keep alluding to, like why like people keep forgetting about families and stuff like that. Oh, I love it! I love it! I think I've got one ready to go. Is it like the Wardens of Hell, something along those lines? I haven't started. I'm still on the currently on the second book of the Defiance of the Fall. I also have the third book in the Path of the Berserker ready as well. I still haven't got round to some of the Brandon Sanderson Yumi. Is it Yumi? Something about painting and Tress of the Emerald Sea. Like, I've got them. I've had them. I've sat there for a while, but I've just not got round to actually listening to them. The problem is because I like audiobooks because I can listen. That's the weirdest run. You may as well just walk. I like listening to audiobooks because I'm generally doing something else while listening, right? As opposed to reading, where I have to actively I can't do two things at once when it comes to reading. I used to, but I got told off quite a lot. When I used to work in a call centre, I'd just be reading a book while talking to customers, and they didn't like that. Did not like that at all. Thank fuck I don't do that for a living anymore. Yeah, so I like reading, but if I'm doing something that's sort of, for instance, like riding a bike, if it wasn't motovlogging, I'd probably be listening to like either music or an audiobook on a long journey while I'm working. When I'm doing tasks that don't require a huge amount of brain power, which is most of them, I'll have an audiobook on the go. And then I'll just pause it when I need to actually think about what I'm doing. I mean, people have this weird little stigma about audiobooks, and some of them aren't good in terms of like the narrator needs to be giving it some. Like, they need to be like making like essentially doing like voices and emoting and acting. If they're just like reading it robotically, then it's just no good. Or if the voices are awful, then it's just not going to be any good. So I've had a couple of books that have been spoiled by the shit narrator, like the books for the Game of Thrones. Roy Dotrice, I think it was him. For some reason, everyone was a country bumpkin, and like I think Brianna Tarth was. She sounded like a retarded girl, Bristol. I don't know why. It was a choice. It was an absolute choice. So I couldn't deal with it. I mean, to be fair, I don't like the books anyway. They are shit. So there's a lot of times when I've started a book or series purely based on the narrator. Like, for instance, the Patrick Rothfuss books, The Name of the Wind and A Wise Man's Fear. Make that third book, for the love of God! Right? Like, I've got the physical copies. Like, I've read them to death. The audiobooks, they're just permanently on my phone. I will listen to them multiple times during the year. I just love his delivery. It's fantastic. It's amazing, to the point where I have chosen other books purely based on the fact that it's him reading it. The one that springs to mind is the Arcane Ascension series. Another one would be Kate Redding. Oh god, the guys that do the Wheel of Time books, and then went on to do essentially most of the Brandon Sanderson, like the Stormbringer series, and Mistborn. Stephen Kramer, something like that. So I've got other books like the Jim Butcher series, the Furies of Calderon. I can't remember what the actual. It's a long ass series. I started listening to that because it was Kate Redding doing the narration, which I thought was a surefire winner, and I did enjoy that series quite a lot. I think the problem stems from like the era of books on tape, when it was sort of like low effort media. I mean, people quite happily sit and listen to like a massive true crime podcast. I couldn't see the lines of the road then, like for hours, but for some reason, or just like a normal podcast of two people talking, but an audiobook is just too much for some reason. I don't get it. I mean, some people like to read the books because they'll do like sort of the dialogue of the voice in their head. I mean, in either kind of format, you need to like generate the imagery yourself, so that bit doesn't change. But when it comes to like, characterization and the voice and the acting part, that's what I mean. That's what it depends all on the narrator. A good narrator it'll change how you sort of view the books. I mean, there's a lot of books now where the character on the page or in the audiobook that's the voice I hear, is the voice of the narrator. Take for instance, as I said, the Wandering In series, narrated by Andrea Parsnow, right? That series of books has characters up the wazoo. There's so many supporting characters, and not just that, but different like races, like from like drakes, lizard people, gnolls, goblins, like literally like humans, like loads of different kinds of characters. And she tries and ant people, the Antinium, and she tries to like make every one of them like distinct, like a distinct, different voice, so you always know who's talking. And like there are a lot of similarities in a lot of the voices, and some of the accents are more than suspect. But when it comes to accents, I don't really mind too much if it's a bad British accent. Michael Kramer, that's his name, because he does one. It's awful. His British accent is terrible. But in the all you have to do is think about it as this is a fantasy setting. This isn't England, so it just happens to be a natural accent that sounds like a really bad British one. So you get away with it. But yeah, absolutely amazing. Like when it comes to, she can even do a little bit of singing in some of the like the side books. And the actual the way the Wandering In books are written, it's quite amateurish. There's a lot of the same words being used multiple times in a sentence, and that's always like sort of extra jarring. But yeah, she makes it work. I don't think the series would be as enjoyable in written format. Yeah, so come on, Audible, throw me some cash.